Didn't you hear me, old man? I said get out of my booth. The diner went silent. Every fork froze mid-air. The only sound left was the old ceiling fan humming above and the low thump of boots approaching. The man towering over the booth wasn't just loud, he was furious. Muscled, tattooed, wearing a leather vest with a skull patch and mirrored sunglasses, he loomed over the elderly man like a predator circling a wounded deer. But the old man didn't flinch. He just sat there quietly, hands folded in his lap, a weathered navy blue cap on his head that read, Vietnam Veteran. The waitress stood frozen by the counter, unsure what to do. This was Earl's spot. Every Tuesday morning, same corner booth, same black coffee, no cream. He didn't talk much, but people knew, the locals knew. He'd fought in Da Nang, lost half his unit in an ambush. Came back home to silence, judgment, and decades of nightmares. But he still showed up, still stood tall. Until today. The biker slammed his hand on the table, jarring the plates. I ain't sitting next to no relic from a war we lost. This ain't your place anymore, Grandpa. Still, Earl didn't respond. His eyes stayed low, staring into the steam rising from his cup, like he'd seen worse, because he had. But across the diner, a young soldier in uniform slowly stood from his stool. His hands clenched, his jaw locked. But before he could take a step, the door jingled. And everything changed. A figure stepped into the diner. Boots first, then khakis. Then the unmistakable gleam of a badge. Is there a problem here? The voice was calm, measured, but carried a weight that made everyone look up. The biker turned, about to snap back, but froze. The man in the doorway wasn't just a cop. He was Earl's son, Deputy Marshal Luke Harrington, decorated officer, SWAT trained, 8 years on the force, and right now his eyes were locked on the man threatening his father. You touch him? Luke asked, walking forward slowly. The biker, suddenly a little less bold, stepped back. Hey, I didn't know he was your old man, all right? Just some random fossil taking up space. Luke didn't blink. That fossil took bullets so you could run your mouth in a free country. You disrespected a man who stood for this flag before you were even born. The biker laughed nervously. It's not that serious, man. Luke stopped inches from his face. It is to me. Then, without warning, Luke pulled the man's arm behind his back and shoved him onto the counter. The cuffs clicked in place before the biker could process what was happening. You're under arrest for harassment, public disturbance, and threatening a decorated veteran, Luke said flatly. Are you kidding me? I'm not, but you are, and you're done. He turned to the waitress. We'll need his tab for restitution. Then Luke walked over to Earl, gently resting a hand on his shoulder. Sorry I'm late, Dad. Earl looked up, his voice soft and cracked. Always were. Laughter rippled through the room. Relief, respect. Applause broke out in the corner booth. The soldier who'd started to stand earlier gave a quiet salute. A mother at the window held her son's hand tighter and whispered, That's what a real man looks like. The biker was escorted out in silence, suddenly very aware of every stare burning into his back. For once he had nothing to say. Earl stayed seated, sipping his coffee like nothing had happened, but his hand trembled just enough for Luke to notice. Without a word, Luke sat beside him. No need to talk, just presence. And in that little diner, something sacred happened. Not just justice, but honor. Earned, restored, remembered. Never judge the quiet old man in the corner. You don't know what he's survived or who's watching out for him. Because sometimes the strongest people carry their pain in silence and their legacy in the hearts of those they raised. And if you ever forget that, someone wearing a badge might remind you the hard way. Before you scroll, tell me where you're watching from. Drop your city or country below. Your comment means more than you know. Hit like, share this hope forward, and smash subscribe for more stories that hit the heart.